Welcome to Tales of Bedlam. I'm your host, Knob Twister.
Howdy ho!
And that's my
sidekick,
sofa sitter. And we have a fourth tale for you today.
This is the third
Tale for you today. For our spooktacular Halloween extravaganza.
Math is hard.
Dustin, what do we have today?
Today we have a tale that was collected by Giambattista Basile, who was an Italian poet, courtier. Why that information is important, we don't know. And he collected fairy tales, including the oldest recorded forms of many well-known European tales. He was like the Brothers Grimm of one. He was a brother.
He did. He recorded some of the earliest versions of Cinderella and Rapunzel.
Oh, that's where we've heard of him. I know I've seen the name Giambattista.
Today's tale is The Young Slave.
We don't like slavery. It's bad. There was once a baron of Selvascura. There once was a baron of Selvascura who had an unmarried sister. Oh, lovely. The sister used to go and play in a garden with other girls her own age. Interesting detail. One day they found a lovely rose in full bloom, so they made a compact that whoever jumped clear over it without touching a single leaf should win something.
Sounds like fun.
Ooh.
Like win a candy bar
or maybe they'll pin a rose on her nose.
There you go.
I don't think jumping over rose bushes is a good idea, but whatever. Whatever keeps them occupied. At least they're not slitting each other's throats like the last
They
one.
didn't have smartphones and Netflix.
You could leap over a bush that isn't going to maim you if you don't make it.
Good point.
But although many of the girls jumped leapfrog over it, they all hit it. And not one of them jumped clean over. So they're all running around bloody legs. But when the turn came to Lisa, the baron's sister, we usually don't get names. She stood back a little and took such a run at it that she jumped right over it to the other side of the rose.
Nice.
Okie doke. Nevertheless, one leaf fell. Boo. But she was so quick and ready that she picked it up from the ground without anyone noticing and swallowed it. Pockets. Thereby winning the prize.
She was Jordan's ancestor.
She leapt the rose bush and then ate the leaf. Okie doke. What was the prize?
They never tell us.
Useless.
Now, less than 3 days later, she gets a prize. Lisa felt herself to be pregnant.
That was her prize?
And nearly died of grief.
Oh my gosh.
For she knew that she had done nothing compromising or dishonest, and could not understand how it was possible for her belly to have swollen.
Well,
she ran at once to some fairies who were her friends.
Who doesn't have just fairy friends laying around?
And when they heard her story, they told her not to worry, for the cause of it all was the rose leaf she had swallowed. So don't worry about it.
Nah, never you mind. It's fine.
Take some eucalyptus, some camphor. You'll be all right.
Spray some Windex on it. It'll be fine. Jeez. So we got more immaculate conceptions. This time it's a rose leaf. When Lisa understood this, she took precautions to conceal her condition as much as possible. So she wore big, bulky clothes, or...
She was embarrassed.
Well, of course she was. She was a pregnant woman. Then was unmarried. And when the hour of her deliverance came, that was a lovely sentence, she gave birth in hiding to a lovely little girl whom she named Lisa. Let's not name everybody the same name. That causes me...
Maybe that's a typo. See, that says Lisa up there, but Then it says
Leela?
Leela. So maybe her name was Leela and she named her child Lisa.
Typos. What you know what this may be why we don't have names in these stories, because it's really inconsequential. We just name her the bastard. Because that's what she is. She's a kid without a dad. It's a word. It's the definition of the word, man. She sent her to the fairies, and they each gave her some charm. This sounds familiar. And the last one slipped and twisted her foot so badly as she was running to see the child that in her acute pain she hurled a curse at her.
What?
Whoops. To the effect that when she was 7 years old, her mother, whilst combing out her hair, would leave the comb in her tresses stuck into the head, and from this the child would perish.
That's a very specific curse.
It was just on the tip of her tongue when she tripped. Oh, dang it.
I know that when I trip, I say,
darn.
When your 7-year-old mother will comb and stir her hair, and she will die because the comb will stick in the tresses and stuck to her head, from the child will perish.
Whoops. Oh, I'm so sorry. I accidentally cursed you with this very specific hair combing curse. But, I tripped and it hurt.
In previous tales, all the combs would be taken from the kingdom.
Right. Oh,
like,
no.
Just like all the spindles.
Yeah, they take all
taken.
Sleeping Beauty. And your mom's going to comb your hair and ouch.
Oh, boy.
That hurt. End of 7 years, the disaster occurred. Really? Nothing in between?
7 years.
And the despairing mother, lamenting bitterly, encased the body in 7 caskets of crystal. Cut her up into pieces?
7 caskets of crystal. No, I think they're a casket within a casket.
Oh, like one of those little nesting dolls? Weird.
Italian tale. I was going to be like, oh, you're so on to it, Dustin. This is a Russian. No, it's not. It's an Italian tale.
I think she cut her up into 7 pieces. Anyway, since it's Halloween, Oh, it says right after. One within the other. So my theory is in the toilet. And placed her in a distant room of the palace, keeping the key in her pocket. You know that exponential thing? That's a huge casket.
Yeah, that would be
7 times. It's like the size of a room. And she locked it and kept the key in her pocket. This is weird.
However, after some time, her grief brought her to her grave.
Uh-oh.
When she felt the end to be near, she called her brother and said to him, "My brother, I feel death's hook dragging me away inch by inch.
Dang death.
I leave you all my belongings for you to have and dispose of as you like, but you must promise me never to open the last room in this house and always keep the key safely in the casket."
Well, the first thing he's going to do is go open the dang door.
Why would you hide the key in the casket that it opens?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
The brother, who loved her above all things, gave his word, and at the same moment she breathed, "Adieu, for the beans are ripe."
What?
I don't know.
She said adieu for the beans are ripe?
I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind was...
Wow.
But whatever.
Wow. Must be an Italian thing. Who knows? The beans are ripe. We need to write that down. Make a good t-shirt. At the end of some years... It'd make people ask, man. At the end of some years, this lord, who in the meantime had taken a wife, was invited to a hunting party. There's big gaps in this story. He recommended the care of the house to his wife and begged her above all, not to open the room, the key of which he kept in the casket. Dirt.
If you didn't want your wife to get into your safe with the dead girl in it, why would you point out before you left?
Right.
Don't. Stay completely away from the key that is on top of the safe in that room over there. Do not open it.
Right?
I would so open it as soon as he left.
I want to open it.
Yeah.
I'm not even there.
However, as soon as he had turned his back...
Why wouldn't you just tell her what was in it?
She began to feel suspicious. Well, actually, he doesn't know what's in it.
Oh, he doesn't know what's in it.
Because his sister left it to him. And said to never
So
open
for
it.
the 7 years before the kid died, he didn't know she had a daughter?
No, he knew that, but he just doesn't know what's in that room.
He doesn't know what's in a casket.
No.
What's in he hasn't even been in the room. This is all very confusing to me. Yeah, it was a key in a casket.
I think you have to go into the room to get the key to open the casket.
She told him when she was dying, it's a key for a casket. Yeah. What else do you keep in a casket?
Not to go into the room.
Yeah.
You could keep cigars in a casket.
If you're weird and morbid.
Yeah. Or a vampire.
Or there's 7 caskets anyway, so who knows?
So she began to feel suspicious and held by jealousy and consumed by curiosity, which is a woman's first attribute.
Oh, ouch.
Took the key and went to open the room.
Curiosity and jealousy. Dang women. Jeez.
There, she saw the young girl clearly visible through the 7 layers of crystal.
So it was a see-through casket.
So she opened them one by one and found that she seemed to be asleep.
Weird.
Lisa had grown like any other woman, and the caskets had lengthened with her. These are magical crystal cabinets, keeping pace as she grew.
This is some weird crap going on. Why did they have to put her in 7 of them if they were just going to grow with her?
I think we need to do a
I don't have
crystal
Okay.
caskets.
Write it down. Email it to me.
Are you near death?
Am I near death? No.
Are you near death?
This needs to start out with, do you have a dead child?
Oh, that's morbid.
What?
Do you have a dead child or maybe another loved one that's near death? You might be interested in our 7 Russian doll crystal caskets.
From Italy.
It's based on the Russian nesting doll.
Nesting dolls.
But it's Italian crystal.
And you put your deceased child in the coffin.
That's right. And then you put that coffin in another coffin, and then that coffin in another coffin. And that
this is a very long commercial.
And that coffin in... Well, you get the point. There's 7 coffins in all, so that your child will be perfectly preserved until one day, when you're mature enough to actually have a kid, you could then unlock the coffins, remove the comb from the child's hair, and voila! They're alive. You are mature, so you can now raise this child the way it should be raised and not screw the whole thing up.
I think you spoiled like half the story and we hadn't got there yet.
So, buy our crystal caskets.
Limited time only. Use at your own risk. $19.99 plus tax. Not available.
Each. And there's 7 of them, so multiply that by 7.
Not available in Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, where we're prohibited by law.
Oh, keeping pace as she grew. These are amazing caskets. Dustin, take it away.
When she beheld this lovely creature, I'm lost now. Oh, this is the curious, jealous wife.
She's unlocked each casket, and she's now to the last one.
The jealous woman at once thought, by my life, this is a fine thing. Keys at one's girdle, yet nature makes horns. That sentence didn't make any sense. No wonder he never let anyone open the door and see the Mahomet that he worshipped inside the caskets. He was a devil worshiper. Saying this, she seized the girl by the hair, the dead girl, dragged her out, and in doing so, caused the comb to drop out, so that the sleeping Lisa awoke, calling, Mother, Mother, I'll give you mother and father too. cried the Baroness. Wow. Who is as bitter as a slave? What? I can't read that. As angry as a bitch with a litter of pups, and as venomous as a snake. Wow. She straightaway cut off the girl's hair and thrashed her with tresses, dressed in her rags, and every day heaped blows upon her head and bruises upon her face, blackening her eyes and making her mouth look as if she had eaten raw pigeons.
Oh.
That's a pretty awful look.
Descriptions.
I've never eaten a raw pigeon, but I can imagine it makes your mouth look pretty ugly.
Ooh. This is not good.
I'll give you mother and father, too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
When her husband came back from his hunting party and saw this girl being so heartily used, he asked who she was.
Really?
He doesn't know what's in the room.
I know, but that's what he asks.
Not, stop that!
What the crap is going on here, crazy lady? Why are you beating this child?
His wife answered, yeah, because she's 7 years old. Oh, no, wait. She grew during that time.
Yeah, it said several years, but she's still a kid.
His wife answered that she was a slave sent her by her aunt. Only fit for rope's end, and that one had to be forever beating her.
Wow.
Just
this lady is definitely as angry as a bitch with a litter of pups.
That's wow. I guess he didn't question that.
Oh, but yeah, he was fine with that.
Oh, well, carry on then.
Beat her way.
Just
as long as it's a slave, you know.
Yeah. Now it happened one day when the Baron had occasion to go to a fair that he asked everyone in the house, including even the cat, that they would like him to buy for them. And when they had all chosen one thing and one another, he turned at last to the slave.
But his wife flew into a rage and acted unbecomingly to a Christian. Up until now it was fine.
She had no mercy is what that means.
Okay. Saying,
"That's right. Class her with all the others, this thick-lipped slave. Let everyone be brought down to the same level. And all use the urinal.
Whoa.
Don't pay so much attention to a worthless bitch. Let her go to the devil."
holy crap.
But
this is a rude woman.
Who was kind and courteous, insisted that the slave should also ask for something. And she said to him, "I want nothing but a doll, a knife, and a pumice stone.
Wow.
And if you forget them, may you never be able to cross the river that you came to on your journey."
What? This is all over the place.
Well, that's definitely a curse.
Well, yeah.
That if you forget them, you will not be able to get home.
Why is she cursing the dude that's being nice to her?
You'll see. You gotta keep reading, Dustin. It gets better.
I want a doll and a knife. No. I'm gonna have to say no to that one. Okay, the Baron brought all the other things, but just forgot those for which the slave had asked him. So when he came to a river that carried down stones and trees to the shore to lay the foundations of fears and raise walls of wonder.
This is so weird.
That's a mighty big river. He found it impossible to ford it. Then he remembered the spell put on him by the slave and turned back and bought the 3 articles in question. When he arrived at home, he gave out each one thing for which they had asked. The heck?
When Lisa had what she wanted, she went into the kitchen and, putting the doll in front of her, began to weep and lament. And putting the doll in front of her, began to weep and lament and recount all the story of her troubles to that bundle of cloth, just as it had been a real person. When it did not reply, she took the knife and sharpened it on the pumice stone and said, "Mind if you don't answer me, I will dig this into you, and that will put an end to the game."
Weird.
And the doll, swelling up like a reed, when it had been blown in two, answered at last.
Oh, I'm the doll, huh?
Answered at last.
All right, I have understood you. I'm not deaf.
The music had already gone on for a couple days. Okay. When the Baron, who had a little room on the other side of the kitchen, chanced to hear this song. What?
I don't know. It's like you
This
missed something.
Story
but
is
just how it is.
discombobulated. And putting his eye to the keyhole, saw Lisa telling the doll about her mother's jump over the rose leaf, how she swallowed it, her own birth, the spell, the curse of the last fairy, the comb left in her hair, her death, how she was shut into the 7 caskets and placed in that room, her mother's death, the longest run-on sentence in the world, the key entrusted to the brother, his departure for the hunt, the jealousy of his wife, how she opened the room against her husband's commands, how she cut off her hair and treated her like a slave, and the many, many torments she had inflicted upon her. That could have been summed up.
And all the while she wept and said, "Answer me, Dolly, or I will kill myself with this knife."
Well, just do it.
Wow, Dustin, there's a lot of... Oh, man. She's been through a lot, and you're like, go ahead and kill yourself.
This is all crazy. They're all crazy people.
And sharpening it on the pumice stone, she would have plunged it into herself had not the Baron kicked down the door and snatched the knife out of her hand.
Go, Baron. Woo, woo. He made her tell him the story again at greater length, greater than the last length.
Do it again, Dustin.
I am not reading all that again. It wore me out. And then he embraced his niece and took her away from that house and left her in charge of one of his relations in order that she should get better. For the hard usage had inflicted on her by his hard-hearted wife had made her quite thin and pale. You think?
Yes. After several months, when she had become as beautiful as a goddess,
Ooh, yeah.
the Baron brought her home and told everyone that she was his niece.
Weird.
He ordered a great banquet, and when the food had been cleared away, he asked Lisa to tell the story of the hardship she had undergone and of the cruelty of his wife, a tale which made all the guests weep.
That's awful. Then he sharpened the knife upon the pumice stone and gave it to Lisa's little doll. Okay, it says that. To the amazement of those attending the feast, the doll drew breath and hefted the knife high with both hands, proceeding to stab repeatedly at the fine breast of the Baron's wife, not the saggy old breast, the fine breast. Time and time again, the knife cleaved deep into her chest, till her heart sprung forth in a crimson fountain. Lovely. Speckling the now horrified onlookers with the hot blood. Horrified, right. Blood wrought with jealousy and hatred. The little doll once more drew breath and cried, Really? The little doll once more drew breath and cried, Can you hear me now, bitch? And with that hilarity is the end of the story.
And that entire last paragraph is not real.
Did you just make that up? Oh.
I wrote that entire last paragraph because, let me read for you the last paragraph. It was not as exciting as that. Then he drove his wife away, sending her back to her parents, and gave his niece a handsome husband of her own choice. Thus Lisa testified that heaven rains favors on us when we least expect it.
I like that ending.
I like the other one. The fountain of blood.
You're a gruesome individual, I have to say.
Woo.
Wow.
Can you hear me now?
Well, the fine breast and the misspellings now make sense.
Oh, man. My bad, Dustin. I gave myself away with that.
Well, I was, as weird as this story was, I was all for it. That seemed right.
So,
But I liked the real ending because the girl got to choose her husband, and it wasn't the other way around.
Consent.
He didn't give her to somebody. She got to pick him.
That's right. I do. For all the beans are ripe. Good night.
Bye.
Oh, wait. Don't forget to tell your friends and family about our awesome podcast.
Yeah, tell them to listen to that one. It was great.
Check out our website at talesofbedlam.com, where you can listen to all our stories.
They're not all nearly as gruesome as that.
But all the ones during October of this year are.
Oh, that's right. We're doing the gory month.
Yep. Same as last year at October. So if you didn't get enough this year of the 5 tales that we are giving to you this year in October 2019, you can always check out the October of 2018 in our archives.
Yeah, buddy.
Talesofbedlam.com. Good night.
All right, y'all come back now.
You read that like it was just really part of the story.
It was on my paper, man. It flowed pretty good with the story. It made sense. I thought it was a little harsh, the last sentence, but it was in there a couple times anyway, so who's to question?